I just got back from my viewing of the Minecraft movie. Or, sorry, a Minecraft movie. Still a title I do not appreciate, but it's whatever. And before I start unraveling my thoughts, one, this is going to contain spoilers because I'm just going to do a lot of rambling mainly in this video. And two, I am not a fan of Minecraft. This is coming from somebody who is not really plugged into the Minecraft space. I do know some things about its history and very, very little about its lore and some of its mechanics. I've played it for like an hour probably total, with 30 minutes of it being last night, the night before I saw the movie, which is what you're seeing on screen, which is also why the gameplay is so terrible, because I'm not a very avid Minecraft player. But yeah, I thought those are some details that would be important to know before we get into this. So let's start talking about some aspects of the movie, such as the plot. Now, Minecraft is like a really open world game that has like some story, but you know, pretty much a lot of this was going to be original, especially because it's a live action and they're incorporating humans into it and making it kind of a fish out of water story where it's mainly Steve who knows his way around. The overworld is what they're calling it, the Minecraft world pretty much, and then 4 audience surrogates of varying levels of importance and relatability who I was initially really worried about because the trailers made them look a lot worse than they were, but they ended up not being as bad as I thought, but for all the wrong reasons. So basically the movie opens up and it's Jack Black as Steve explaining how, you know, he yearned for the mines as a kid, which was an interesting meme to shove into it. There's a lot of memes shoved into this movie. And basically one day he found Minecraft while mining as an adult, and he found the Minecraft world and he escaped all his problems and just basically just played Minecraft for the rest of his life. Until one day he discovered this alternate universe called the Nether, where he was imprisoned by Malgosha, who leads the piglins who roam the Nether, the species that exist in the Nether. But he gets his dog Dennis to take this like orb that would give the piglins power over the overworld in order to ruin it. He gives it to his dog and sends him out to the human world to take it to Steve's old house. And then cut to a very slow introduction of all the characters. I mean, it was only like 20 minutes or so, but it felt really slow. Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, played by Jason Momoa, who runs this like rundown retro game / like geek store, who is still riding off his prime in 1989, being a video game champion. Natalie and Henry, an older sister and younger brother who it looks like their mom passed away recently, so they moved to this town in Idaho, and Natalie ends up being the social media manager for a chip company. And then Dawn, who is the realtor who sells Natalie the house. And it just goes through like naming their stories and having the characters interact with each other, which all leads to Momoa buying this storage unit to try and make some money, which has the orb in it, which leads all the characters to the Minecraft world where they eventually get stuck. And Steve needs the orb to leverage with Malgosha to get Dennis back because he believes that Dennis is trapped with her. And since part of the orb is broken, the gang have to set out to go to this woodland mansion location in order to get the missing piece so that, you know, Steve can get the orb and send our characters, our audience surrogates, back home. And that's the basic setup for this movie, and it's not good. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. This movie is not very good. The visual style can sometimes look good and look intriguing for some of the Minecraft locations. Sometimes it can look beautiful, but most of the time you're pinging back and it just looks awful. The character designs for like the Minecraft Minecraft animals and species and stuff are not that great. They are very jarring. A lot of the structures don't look all that great. It's weird to have this in live action. I don't know why it wasn't something that's animated, but they went with the live action. They definitely could have done a lot better. A lot of the lighting on the characters is like very bad, and it doesn't look like they're in the scene that they're supposed to be at all. Because I know there's some like real set pieces that they had in there, but for the most part, it was green screen. A lot of shadows and lighting just don't make sense. It's kind of distracting. And this movie is very heavily carried by Jack Black's performance, so if you're not a fan of Jack Black, this is not going to be a good movie to watch. He does have multiple songs in the movie, one of which I did have spoiled for me, but at the very least, they're all silly, and they have that Jack Black energy. I don't really mind them. And there's also like a little subplot that happens where the vice principal of Henry's school, played by Jennifer Coolidge, I forget her name, is in a relationship with a villager that escaped from the Minecraft overworld to our human world on Earth. And they kind of abandon this like partway through. They keep cutting back to like the same date, and I kind of wish this got more screen time because I do think this had potential to get some more laughs than a lot of the other parts of the movie and a lot of other elements of the movie did. Because this movie is based on memes, and I think that's why a lot of people saw it. I was in a theater that had a lot more adolescents and young adults than it did kids and parents. But it didn't really show because I saw it, again, I'm seeing it on Sunday. That's 2 days after opening night, so people aren't as excited. The people that are yelling chicken jockey and I am Steve and laughing at every line have already seen the movie, so unfortunately my viewing experience was kind of tampered, because that's probably going to be a big carry, if I'm honest, for you, for the movie being good, especially for a lot of outsiders. Not outsiders, for a lot of people who are in tune with the meme culture of it all. I think it would be a lot better of a movie if the audience also cares just as much and is going absolutely feral over every line. But unfortunately, I didn't get that experience. I mean, of course, you have like the whole Steve going, I as a kid, I yearned for the mines. And then one of the characters, one of the piglins, General Chungus, yeah, that's his name, uses unalive instead of kill. That's always fun. I love TikTok censorship language. But yeah, a lot of the memes and stuff from the movie it's just like the trailers. Like, it's not all that different. It's mostly Jack Black saying, Flint and Steel, or Slime Block, or stuff like that. Like, there's one point where, like, the characters have to jump onto this, kind of like hot air balloon creature or whatever. I don't even know what they're called, but these, like, white things that float in the air, and the piglins kind of ride on them like hot air balloons. And Steve has to throw down a slime block, but they have to introduce it to the audience, so he just yells slime block, because again, this movie just is bad at exposition. The exposition is like all over the place. They'll like deliver it in chunks, and it's never really that good. And it also has to introduce a lot of Minecraft elements, and they're going off the assumption that, they have to explain this to a lot of the audience, even though I'm pretty sure this movie was primarily made with kids in mind. But I guess so parents and other people that aren't familiar don't get confused, because this movie is just all over the place. And also people like me that haven't played it, they just have to be like, this is this, and that's what it does, in a very Jack Black way. I mean, it is entertaining to a degree. I feel like if it was anybody other than Jack Black, it would not be entertaining to hear. But just seeing him just over-explain things in Minecraft made it tolerable. It's still not great, and it's very clunky, but it's better than nothing. I feel like nothing would flow to an outsider if he didn't constantly announce things, because then he'd be jumping from this idea to that idea and never elaborating on them. But I feel like you don't really have to do that if you want to. You can world build in other ways. I feel like it wasn't necessarily the best way to go about doing it, but that's what they decided to do, and I guess I can see why they did the movie that way. That was the easiest way to do it, to just explain everything as it happens. but you can always just leave at least some things to the imagination. Like, did Steve really have to yell, slime block, as he's using a slime block? Like, no, we can just use some inferences. Things don't have to be overly explained all the time. It's just kind of annoying. Even as an outsider, it's kind of annoying at times. Just how much of the movie is just Jack Black. Again, it's Jack Black, so it's still entertaining. And if it was anybody else, I would be extremely annoyed. But even with Jack Black, it's still teetering on the edge of being a little just dumb. But they do cram some other things into this movie, some other things. Like, I know there are, like, some Minecraft YouTubers that are apparently in it, but I'm not very familiar with them, so I didn't catch any of them. There is a point, though, where Steve is walking the characters through the village, and they have a little pig with Technoblade's crown, like, walking through. And Henry, I believe, is the one who asks, is that guy some sort of king? And then Steve says, no, he's a legend. And that was very touching to see. But yeah, the characters in this movie, the audience surrogates, any character in this movie really have no character development. Like, the whole Coolidge screwing a villager had more development than any of the other characters in the movie. Dawn, she barely gets used, and I think it's a shame. She could have been a really good character. Natalie also is rarely ever used, and there's a whole section of the movie where Natalie and Dawn are just separated from the rest of the main cast, so they kind of just hang on the sidelines for a while Garrett and Henry and Steve are off doing their thing. Garrett doesn't really have any growth. He's just this, like, dumb oaf for the entire movie, and eventually he does have a little turnaround with his financial situation and stuff, but he doesn't really have any character development. Henry's the closest character to having some sort of character development, and I kind of liked him the most out of the four main ones, because he's this kid who's, like, kind of bullied for being the creative type, and then he reaches Minecraft and he excels over everybody else, and he's like, I can do anything in this world. And you can kind of see him, like, wanting to stay in Minecraft, but eventually he decides, no, I'm going to keep creating in spite of what other people think. And I think that was a really nice sentiment. But also, like, they kind of rushed it with all the characters. Like, he barely gets his arc barely gets any spotlight. It's kind of rushed and very clunky. There's not a lot of elements to it. And then there's Steve, which you would think like, how the movie's going, like, he would have an arc. Like, he's this man who just, like, went off to Minecraft and ran away from all his problems, and you think he might start to realize, oh, I haven't really done anything important with my life, and maybe he'll want to go back to the real world. Which, he does go back to the real world. He just doesn't have this realization. Like, he was going to stay until the end, and he had no thoughts of going to the real world, even sending his dog, Daniel or something. I don't even remember his dog's name, to be honest, with Dawn. And then he's just like, I'll stay here. And he's like, screw it. Like, there was no, like, development that led to that. He just kind of did it, which is, I think, a lot of missed potential there. And then at the end, Steve tries to go back to his old house to get a chest, because now he's in the real world. And again, spoiler alert, but this whole thing has been filled with spoilers. He meets Alex. Like, I thought they'd probably do something more than just have Alex in there. But yeah, there's Alex. And there's almost certainly going to be a sequel with how much money this is going to print. This is, I'm pretty sure, the biggest box office opening weekend for a video game movie, and the movie itself is probably going to be in the top 5 video game adaptations. So I would not be surprised if this gets some sort of continuation, whether it's with a show or like a spin-off movie or just like a straight up sequel following the same characters. And I hope that these characters can eventually get some more time to shine and some more development, potentially in a sequel where more of Minecraft has been established for the audience, so we can more so focus on the actual characters as opposed to explaining what this world is and hopefully we'll be able to appease. They'll be able to appease both camps, where they'll have this good representation of Minecraft while also having a good story with good characters. But as it stands, it's just a mess of a movie. I feel like Jack Black and Jason Momoa and their bromance, it really saves it, because otherwise I'm not sure if this movie would be tolerable. It really helps if you have a good audience. Don't go alone. Don't watch it at home when it comes out on streaming. Go watch it as soon as you can, and hope that you get a good audience to go with. And if you don't have a good audience there, hopefully you'll bring some friends along that can make the good audience if there doesn't happen to be one. Kids will obviously like this movie. It's full of just a bunch of eye candy, and it's decent enough for kids, but I feel like this movie could have had the potential to be a lot more, and I say that as not a Minecraft fan, so I imagine actual Minecraft fans will have some more quarrels with this. And I know the memes are like a big thing with this movie, and the marketing kind of leaned more into that, but I feel like they could have done a lot more with this, so I'm a little upset that this is how it turned out, especially with how good video game adaptations are getting. Like, we're done from like the old days, because now we're getting like the Zelda one is probably going to be pretty good. We've had some bangers recently with Five Nights at Freddy's and the Mario movie, and at least Sonic 2 and 3, the first one, the second one isn't even really that good, but the first one is definitely like not very good in my opinion. I cannot go back to that one, but I've watched Sonic 3 like 7 times. Hey, let me know if you guys want me to talk about Sonic 3, because I haven't yet, because the channel wasn't like set up when that movie came out, but I'd love to talk your ear off about Sonic the Hedgehog 3, because that movie has been my obsession for a while now. So thank you all for watching. I don't even know if I want to recommend this movie, man. Like, what is this?